Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Wraith Hoops, and today we're going to be talking about what Taylor Hendricks should be expected to do this upcoming season with the Utah Jazz and what exactly he would likely become as a player for them. Taylor Hendricks was drafted as the highest player in this draft for the Utah Jazz at 9th overall. He came out of UCF after being considered their highest rated player to be signed out of high school at a 4-star, and he ended up averaging 15 points to go along with 7 rebounds, 1.4 assists, and 1.7 blocks per game across 34 contests. Now, he did end up shooting 47.8% from the field and 39.4% from beyond the arc at 4.6 attempts per match. At 19 years old, he stands at 6'10" and roughly 210 pounds. He's known for being a very solid shooter, a big that can stretch himself thin on defense, who can guard the perimeter well, has decent footwork out there, can also protect the rim decently well, and at the same time, he also has a very positive shooting touch, making him quite possibly one of the more tantalizing and premier bigs that the league could have to offer in years to come. Across 4 preseason games, some fans have come to think that Taylor Hendricks isn't actually all that. And I think the issue that comes from it is the simple fact that he just hasn't played as many minutes or in as many contests to give everybody just a full taste of what he's capable of doing. That being said, he is 2 for 6 from beyond the arc. He also ended up going 4 for 10 from the field overall in his shot attempts. The issue that we've seen, more so beyond the fact that he hasn't played very many minutes, is that a lot of people are wondering just what his role will actually be. The simple fact of the matter is you have Walker Kessler and John Collins who have a similar game, as they're both utilized in sort of a dunker sense, but John Collins also has the ability to shoot the 3-ball. Now, he did suffer a hand injury before, but post last year's All-Star break, he's been shooting very consistently, and I expect him to continue that trend and get back up to par with his normal self and the best version of himself this upcoming season. If he provides that ability, and Walker Kessler, who actually hit a 3 with a pretty smooth stroke last preseason game, admittedly it is the preseason, nevertheless, it bodes well for the both of them, because in an event where you can run a 5-out with 2 bigs that have the potential to either erase the glass or clean up the glass with extreme efficiency, there's really very few situations that you can get your team into where you don't feel comfortable. I believe that there is a long road of development ahead for Taylor Hendricks, not simply because he is such a young prospect, because obviously Walker Kessler was last year as well, but more so because he doesn't necessarily fulfill a need that this roster particularly has. Now, when you think as far as forwards and bigs go, you think of Walker Kessler, you think of Kelly Olynyk, you think of Lauri Markkanen, and you think of John Collins. Adding him to the mix provides the 5th person in that sort of rotation, but he's not getting minutes over any of those players unless you would like to say possibly Kelly Olynyk. With that in mind, you see on the other end of the spectrum, everybody's eyes are focused on Keyonte George, because not only did he tear it up in the summer league, but he also is putting on a show that makes him seem like he could potentially be the guard pair to go alongside Walker Kessler as the duo grows older, and quite possibly turns into the future dynamic superstar in the league. That being said, Keyonte George is given an opportunity at a role that we need to desperately get sorted out. There are multiple guards on the roster, and it seems at times that one guy outperforms the other, but then he seems to regress the next game, and it's kind of an up and down teetering scale. Now, the most consistent and reliable that I believe should start is likely Chris Dunn, but that remains to be seen. Whatever the case may be though, Keyonte George has been given more minutes and more of an opportunity to flex his muscles and do what he wants on the offensive side of the ball, and has also shown that he is a little bit wet behind the ears when it comes to being on defense at the NBA level. Hey there, thanks for tuning into the video and making it this far. If you have, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Only 12% of you guys are subscribed to the channel, man. By subscribing, it lets the algorithm know that it needs to push out the video in front of more people like you and I who would really appreciate what we have going on here and join the community. With Taylor Hendricks, he's going to have his fair share of welcome to the NBA moments, but I think that his process will be more delayed because he will be allowed to grow into his role. There will be no major expectation that he comes out the gate firing and hitting all his shots and being a great defender and being able to get stops on all sides of the ball. The simple fact of the matter is he's going to have a lot of time to develop, really get things going, learn how to carry and conduct himself in the league, how to make sure he's locked in all the time, and how to improve his game and even get better as a shooter, which he already in a sense is a pretty solid shooter, considering that he did hit almost 40% of his threes on 4.5 attempts a game in college across 34 games. Now that being said, I expect his rookie numbers to be kind of low, but that's not to say that he can't work his way into more minutes as the game goes on and as you get into more serious rotations. And particularly if the Jazz make the playoffs, which I expect them to, he will end up getting more valuable experience should he play in those games, or even being on the sideline. There's a lot more to soak up than in any game that he's played in up to this point. Keyonte George is obviously the guard that's getting more of the shine, and he is the player that, deservingly so, fulfills a need and is expected to do a lot of great things for this team. But I believe that Taylor Hendricks is going to follow more of the Walker Kessler role, where Walker came in and he wasn't expected to be great right away. He came in and they sat him on the bench, then they started him a little bit, then they gave him more minutes, and by the end of the season, he was a starter that was putting up very valuable numbers for that team and seemed like a viable replacement for Rudy Gobert, who many people didn't think would ever get replaced, considering the type of trade package that they ended up getting. And now, hindsight 2020, it looks like the Jazz fleeced everybody that they traded Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert for. That being said, it'll be interesting to see how the season plays out, and I believe that Taylor Hendricks will end up playing a very solid role, and while it might not be the most vital, he'll definitely gain some serious experience that allows him to become a significantly better player and quite possibly a star player in the league a few years down the line. Thanks for tuning in this video. It's your boy Wraith Hoops. Make sure to like the video, comment your thoughts about Taylor Hendricks and the rest of the rookies that are on the Utah Jazz. Subscribe and turn on those post notifications so that the video can get pushed out to more people and you can see my content on your front page. I will be covering the Jazz all season long, and so I look forward to us seeing each other again. With that being said, good morning, good evening, good night, no matter where you are on the globe watching. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.